Hello, I'm Doug, and this is the Taste and Sensibility channel. And today we are at Chilies and Peppers number 19, where we're looking at habaneros. So I am not going to eat these things this way, but I'm going to eat them in here and in here. This is an omelette-y thing. This is a salsa that I made. So I have smaller amounts, and so you can tell I'm not doing this for clickbait. I just want to know what the flavors are like, and I don't want to burn my face off doing it. So if you've been liking the videos you've been seeing here on this channel, please give this one a thumbs up. Subscribe. Click that bell to get notified when new ones come out. Leave some comments down below. Leave some questions down below. And we are getting close to the end of our series on chilies and peppers. This is the hottest thing we're going to look at. And I'm only shaking a little bit. So, not too long ago, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I made this omelet with little bits, tiny pieces, chopped up. You can see some of them in here because I know there's some protective coating interference from the fat and the protein and the egg. Cooked it in a little olive oil. There's no salt or anything, or other flavorings or cheese or anything like that. So I put in 4 grams of chopped up, very finely chopped up habanero, orange habanero, like these, into this omelet, 1 egg. So I'm gonna taste it now and see what kind of flavors I get. It's very aromatic. You can tell something is vegetable or fruity. And then you start going, oh, it's some kind of pepper. I can feel some capsaicin coming on. But it's not really attacking me strongly. It is growing, it's building at the back. So it's coming up at the back like those sneaky ones. But overall, this is not a firebomb. There's something pleasant and nice, maybe sweet, maybe a touch fruity. So this is not scary to do this. And there's a good amount of heat that's interesting, but it's not anything like the green vegetal things that the greener chilies have been. So it's not quite an orange fruity thing. It's not quite a yellow or red fruity thing. It's hard to identify it, but the heat is in there. And it could be building. Might be going to my tongue first. So I ate this first because this is the mildest form. So I have learned from eating the Tabascos and the Thai chilies this way. So it gives me a little insight into the flavors here without hurting myself yet. So I don't want to eat the whole thing, but that's a fair amount of habanero mass that could hurt you if you eat it some other way, or apply it all to your tongue at once without so much protection. There is a little building heat now. Let me do a little cleansing here before I move on to salsa. Now, the next thing we're looking at is my usual salsa base that I make from fire roasted tomatoes from a can, and then I roast my own onions and garlic on a grill and put those all together in a food processor and chop it up. Then the chilies go in, and that's been the variable. The amount is what's variable. So this was probably about 300 grams of the salsa base with only 3 grams of chili, orange habanero in the chopped up in it. And I think you can see the orange specks of the habaneros that are in there. So I think they stand out a little bit in the overhead camera, because I can see them really easily from here. So I'm not going to do too much because I think this is a hotter mess than this thing is. Can't. There's a higher heat level. Can tell something's roasted in the salsa, but I can't exactly tell what it is. There's less sweetness in the salsa from the tomatoes than I usually notice. Don't really know how a couple grams of chili could affect that. Just describing a mix of flavors. Wow, okay. There's something hitting the back of my throat. Like a really hot chili. Wow. So this was 3 grams of the, this was 4 grams of the habanero in an egg, which is only like 35, 40 grams, maybe 40 or 50 grams. And this is only 3 grams of the habanero chopped up into 300, so it's like 1% of the mass. And this is striking me as hotter, more dangerous. Don't go too far. Interesting. You know, I see the bits of chilies too. So it's not a very interesting salsa. You could use cilantro. You could use jalapenos, something greenish to give it that chili feel. So there's a good amount of heat just from the habanero, but it's not a very satisfying salsa. You want more green flavors. Cilantro, maybe a touch more salt, and green chilies. So this is not a fail on the heat, that's kind of a fail on the flavor. So that's why combinations of chilies are often used in salsas like this. Okay, so now I'm going to clear this all off and go to a different phase of eating the habaneros. I'm back with more stuff around here, and I'm going to show you a more concentrated kind of salsa that Rick Bayless did on his YouTube channel just a few months ago. So this is roasted orange habaneros with lime juice and salt and a little roasted garlic, and that's it. It is dangerous. It's nuclear level stuff. Then I did the same thing with the red habaneros here. So they're roasted and have a few little black specks from the skins. But I put a little side edge of a spoon into this stuff and put it on my tongue, and it just lit me up. It was all on my tongue too. It was very localized, very interesting. So this is not something that you're going to be dipping chips in. And Rick says keep dumping water in until it gets a thin consistency. And yesterday it was thin and runny, and today it's a little thicker. So it changes. But I put it into some ranch dressing, and I put it into these salsas. One is a mango salsa, one's a pineapple salsa. So we're doing it to add a touch of fruity heat to other dishes. So this is very powerful stuff. Let me talk about this. This is Marie's ranch dressing from the produce section, from the refrigerated part of the produce section. So one's made with the orange habanero, one's made with the red, and I need to label it because it's kind of hard to tell. Okay, that's red, and that's orange. So, oh man, I shouldn't even be near these things. These are like, I need PPE just to be around them, so covering those back up. And let me grab a little celery and check out the ranch with the habanero salsa in it. Wow. There's a fruitiness that doesn't come from celery, and a heat that starts later in the game. So let me try on a carrot here. Yeah. There's a fruitiness and a heat. So this was only 100 grams of ranch dressing and 2 grams of the orange habanero salsa. So it's like a teaspoon to this 100 grams that I weighed out. So the creaminess, all the milk fat, kind of protects you in this one, but you get exposed to some of the heat. So that's a pretty good effect. That's one of the things you can do with more concentrated type habanero preparations. So I'll have a link down below to his video of the roasted habanero salsa prep. So it would be a good addition to a ranch dressing, whether homemade or something that you get at a store. And just for a comparison, I'm going to see if I can tell any difference between the red and the orange. It's striking me as slightly different, but I'm not sure I can define very clearly what the differences are. Something a little different about the nature of the chili probably, but it's not real clear what it is. There's heat, there's a fruitiness, and it's real pleasant. It's nice. So that's one of the things you can do with a super concentrated habanero salsa. Let's make a real interesting spicy ranch dressing. And now, let's get some nice fresh surfaces here. So this pineapple salsa has red onions, which I washed off to get some of the sulfury smell and debris off of the onions. And then it's got green jalapenos. I put in a whole teaspoon, which is about 4 grams of this stuff into this salsa. So this was the orange salsa going in here. Whoa. I can tell there's a greenness to it from the jalapeno. And there was plenty of heat from before I added the jalapeno from the habanero. So it added some heat, and it was a late arriving heat in the background, like back of the throat kind of heat. This is not the kind of salsa, this pineapple, that you would put on chips. Well, you could eat it that way, but it's more meant for dishes like topping a taco, or some sort of pork or chicken dish would be good with this salsa on it. There's a lot of fruitiness, there's a sweetness, there's a tartness, there's lime juice in here, a little bit of salt. Just a bright mix of flavors with some pop to it. And 2 kinds of heat. So I'm liking this. They go pretty good on all sorts of dishes. And I didn't bring anything really to show it off or put it on. That's pretty good with just a spoon. And let's clean up a little bit. And this is a mango salsa. Pretty much the same recipe. Substituting mango for the pineapple that's over here. So it's got jalapenos, red onion, cilantro, lime juice, a little salt, and then a couple grams of the habanero salsa. So the mango is juicier and more intensely fruity than the pineapple is. This was nicely tart and sweet both. This is just more to the sweet side. Nice crunch from the jalapenos and the onions. Just a little heat from the jalapeno, a little greenness. And then that slow building heat from the back from the habanero. Just a great, fruity, bright, sweeter type of salsa. It's got 2 kinds of heat in it, so this is really good. Again, should have brought something to show it off a little more to contrast flavors with it. And this is really worthwhile doing. So my last item here is pickled habaneros. So I've tested this once before, and I was surprised that I was able to eat it like that. So let me open one. I think, yeah, this has been opened. I think. Want to just pull out a chunk of pineapple. Half an habanero. And this must be a serrano. Pineapple's pretty, still sweet, crisp, fairly pineapple-y, and it's got a little bit of heat. And it's been hanging around with chilies and peppers. You can tell. And the serrano, it's crispy and pickle-like. Oh, wow, it's hot. It's hot by itself. It was always full of capsaicin. My eyes are starting to water just from that little slice. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay. Edit. Wow, that is crazy. I'm eating little slivers of habanero without any big rush of heat. But one little slice of the serrano has put me on fire. All over tongue, sides, roof of my mouth. So I'm about to eat the habanero from this unopened jar. Except I need to be able to taste. Okay, sliver one. It's pickly, it's crisp. Apple cider vinegar. Oh, there's a little bit of rush of heat towards the back. Okay. Oh, yes, I'm getting it. This is more habanero-like. Okay, and that will be my last one. Very interesting. Okay. So you can use habaneros to dress up other things just by putting in a little bit. I think everything in this jar got super spicy because the habaneros are in there. And they don't seem especially spicy now. The habanero, no. The serrano chilies seem hotter than the habanero that I fished out at the end. So maybe they've exchanged all their capsaicin and capsaicinoids. I've enjoyed messing around with habaneros for the last week or two, but I'm glad I'm quitting. I wouldn't be able to wander into the arena of ghost peppers and scorpion peppers and all those things. So the last episode we're going to do will be on hot sauces with specified chilies. So come back for that. Whew. And cheers.